Hi, welcome to Ocean Yemi's channel. So I hope this is clear because every time I go to do a live or some sort, something will happen, it go funny. Then I have to do real quick ones and come off. Um, Please also go to the dark side of Yemi as this subject is linked to most of what is being talked about now. I'm gonna try and pull up a few things while I'm here. No, I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do it for it. Not gonna do it. Actually, yeah, maybe I might. Okay, let me see. Before I start talking, because let me see. Let me just set up the screen a little bit because I don't seem to be okay. So as you know, I'm going to talk about Gypsy Rose Blanchett. Let's make the screen wider because this is really important. I feel at this present time, especially with what's going on with people's in the mummy sector, particularly because this actually works alongside with the mummy inside of things because her story is very compelling. Um, Let me see if I could get sort out something on this alongside this end. All right, let me see if I could line it up so everything makes sense. You get me? Because if it doesn't make sense, it's like I'm just talking. Okay, I wanna do this right, you see, because this subject matter is quite deep, I will say, as well. Let me see if I could make a simpler one. Okay.
The Story of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Her Mother. Published by Biography.com. Gypsy Rose Blanchard's mother, Dee Dee, falsely claimed her daughter was suffering from different illnesses until Gypsy arranged for her boyfriend to kill her mother in 2015. Gypsy Rose Blanchard grew up with her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard, making claims about her health that resulted in a series of dire diagnoses and medical interventions. However, Gypsy wasn't actually unwell. Her mother had been lying about her symptoms. Experts believe the mental disorder Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Because Dee Dee wanted to be a caretaker, she feigned and induced illness in her daughter. The truth about Gypsy and her mother only came out after Gypsy arranged for an online boyfriend to murder Dee Dee in 2015. Watch the fictionalized miniseries The Act About Dee Dee and Gypsy or the documentary Mommy Dead and Dearest. Starting January 5th, see the prison confessions of Gypsy Rose on Lifetime. Dee Dee began pretending that Gypsy had different illnesses when Gypsy was a baby. Gypsy Rose, who was born in 1991, was a baby when Dee Dee claimed her daughter had sleep apnea. When Gypsy was 8 years old, Dee Dee described her as suffering from leukemia and muscular dystrophy and said she required a wheelchair and feeding tube. The list of medical problems that Dee Dee related about her daughter would go on to include seizures, asthma, and hearing and visual impairments. Due to Dee Dee's actions, Gypsy was prescribed a litany of medications and had to sleep using a breathing machine. She also went through multiple surgeries, including procedures on her eyes and removal of her salivary glands. When Gypsy's teeth rotted, perhaps due to her medications, missing salivary glands, or neglect, they were pulled out. Yet, the truth was that Gypsy could walk, didn't need a feeding tube, and didn't have cancer. Her head was bald only because her mother shaved off her hair. Experts believe Dee Dee had a mental illness known as Munchausen syndrome by proxy, also called factitious disorder imposed on another, which made her fabricate her daughter's ill health in order to receive attention and sympathy for taking care of a sick child. Dee Dee appeared to be a charming, devoted mother, so people believed her. Medical tests often showed inconclusive or contradictory results regarding Gypsy's diagnoses, but Dee Dee would stop seeing any doctors who questioned her daughter's ailments. And many caregivers went along with what Dee Dee wanted. She'd had some nurses' training, so she could accurately describe symptoms, and she sometimes gave Gypsy medication to mimic certain conditions. Dee Dee was also charming and seemed devoted to her daughter. When Gypsy was old enough to talk, Dee Dee instructed her not to volunteer information during their appointments. She was always the one relating Gypsy's fake medical history. Dee Dee told Gypsy's father, Rod Blanchard, that their daughter had a chromosomal disorder that had led to her many health issues. He complimented Dee Dee for her devoted care. When some of Dee Dee's family noticed that Gypsy didn't seem to need a wheelchair and asked questions, Dee Dee and Gypsy moved away. Dee Dee claimed to be a victim of Hurricane Katrina, so she and Gypsy received assistance to relocate from Louisiana to Missouri in 2005. There, Dee Dee continued to bring Gypsy to doctor's appointments. Hurricane Katrina also provided an excuse for missing medical files. Even when Gypsy was a teenager, Dee Dee still claimed she was sick and began to lie about Gypsy's age. In 2008, Gypsy and Dee Dee moved into a new home in Springfield, Missouri. Built by Habitat for Humanity, it was painted pink and had a wheelchair ramp. Gypsy and Dee Dee also received benefits that included charity-sponsored visits to concerts and Disney World. All along, Dee Dee continued to bask in the attention she received for being a devoted caretaker. When Gypsy was 14, she saw a neurologist in Missouri who came to believe she was a victim of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. However, this doctor never reported her case to authorities. In later interviews, he stated his belief that there wasn't enough evidence to act. In 2009, an anonymous report was made to authorities stating that Dee Dee's accounts of Gypsy's ailments had no medical basis. This resulted in 2 caseworkers visiting their home, but Dee Dee convinced them there was nothing wrong. As Gypsy grew older, Dee Dee began to lie about her age, going so far as to alter the dates on Gypsy's birth certificate to make her daughter seem younger. But Gypsy was still becoming harder for Dee Dee to control. Gypsy convinced a man she met online to kill Dee Dee. In 2011, Gypsy tried to get away from her mother by running away with a man she'd met at a science fiction convention. But Dee Dee soon tracked them down via mutual friends. She convinced the man that Gypsy was a minor, though she was actually 19 at the time. According to Gypsy, Dee Dee smashed her computer and physically restrained her to her bed after they returned home. Gypsy has also stated her mother would sometimes hit her and deny her food. Gypsy eventually managed to get back online. She joined a Christian dating site, where she met Nicholas Gojan. She told him the truth about her mother's actions and ended up asking him to kill Dee Dee so they could be together. In June 2015, he came to her house and stabbed Dee Dee while Gypsy waited, ears covered, in the bathroom. Gypsy and Gojan returned to his home in Wisconsin, where they were found by police. Gypsy had twice posted to the Facebook account she shared with her mother, once writing, "That bee is dead." She later explained she made the posts because she wanted her mother's body to be discovered. Gypsy was afraid, and believed she didn't have anyone to trust. After Dee Dee's murder, many people who'd known Gypsy wondered why she had gone so far as to kill her. Since she could walk, she simply could have exposed Dee Dee's lies by standing up in public. Yet Gypsy had been conditioned to think no one would believe her. She explained, "I couldn't just jump out of the wheelchair, because I was afraid and I didn't know what my mother would do. I didn't have anyone to trust." The fact was that Gypsy had spent her entire life being controlled and monitored by her mother. She wasn't allowed to go to school. Although Gypsy was of normal intelligence, Dee Dee told everyone her daughter had a mental age of 7. When they were out in public, Dee Dee constantly held Gypsy's hand, squeezing it when she wanted her daughter to be quiet. Dr. Mark Feldman, an expert in Munchausen syndrome by proxy, said of Gypsy's life and actions, "The control was total in the same sense that the control of a kidnapped victim sometimes is total. Her daughter was, in essence, a hostage, and I think we can understand the crime that occurred subsequently in terms of a hostage trying to gain escape." Now out of prison, Gypsy is not happy that Dee Dee is dead. As Gypsy's medical records documented the abuse she'd been subjected to, her lawyer was able to arrange a plea deal for the charges she faced in Dee Dee's death. In 2016, Gypsy pled guilty to second-degree murder. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison and served 85% of her sentence before being released December 28, 2023. Go John was found guilty of first-degree murder in 2018 and was sentenced to life in prison. Gypsy has stated it was only after Dee Dee's death that she realized the extent of her mother's deception. While Gypsy had known she could walk and eat regular food, she had believed she had leukemia. Today, Gypsy is healthy. She's also said she enjoyed more freedom in prison than in the life she shared with Dee Dee. However, when asked by Dr. Phil if she was glad her mother was dead, she stated, "I'm glad that I'm out of that situation, but I'm not happy she's dead."
Yeah, I'll just play this so like I know people know the story, but it's just that you have to bring it up to where it is now. Now her mother, they said the reason why her mom was like this was because her mother before her sort of used to do the same thing with her, like she was the sick child. So what she did, it's a cycle. She did the same thing to Gypsy. There's two things I actually want to bring up in this live, because I did a small video. I don't know, people have this thing where they have problems when it comes to dealing with abuse. They sometimes run away from content like that for some reason. The seriousness of it is, which is the first thing I'm going to say. The first thing I'm going to say is the seriousness of it was when the Gypsy brought up, because she was a vulnerable girl, a vulnerable young girl, or a very young age, when she went to her grandparents' house, which was kind of like the safe haven from her mother, was that her grandfather used to abuse her. And she described the whole place like his tool shed space. And she described it. And she said it went on for a long period of time. I think I need to bring that one up as well. It went on for a long period of time. And when the producer asked the granddad about it, his response was, "Oh no, no, oh no, something." And I was thinking to myself, like, that is totally ridiculous, because he's not going to say that he did what he did to the girl, right? When they asked some of the relatives, I don't know if I could find the relatives. When they asked the relatives, yeah, here it is.
That's not true at all.
No.
Look, he denies it.
Why do you think Gypsy would say that if it's...
I don't know. I don't know, baby. She would try to touch me. I said, no.
She would try to touch me. She's a little girl.
She was the one that was trying.
She's a little girl.
To touch me. I said, no, don't do that. When she started that when she was about 4 years old. I said, don't do it.
From 4 years old.
And that's about it. But
he denied it.
She was trying to touch me.
That's not true at all.
No.
My thing is, right, what would a 4-year-old know about touching? A 4-year-old would be looking for comfort, would be hugging you, would be wanting your affections and all that. But let me see if I can get where she talks about it. because she talks about how long. Whoops, that's not it. Where she talks about how long this was happening for. How long this was happening for. The dude is not going to say that he abused her. He's not going to say he did it to her. No abuser will do that, will tell on themselves. And the family accordingly backs him as well. I want to see if I can get it to the point where they say, well, he's such a weirdo. I can't even find it, so I hate when I can't find something. Okay, I think this is the one.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard accuses her grandfather of sexual abuse and he claims she tried to touch him. Published by Hollywood Life. In the first part of her Lifetime docuseries, Gypsy Rose Blanchard accuses her grandfather of sexual abuse and molestation. He responds by claiming she was the one who would try to touch him. Gypsy Rose Blanchard opens up about the complicated childhood in the first installment of Lifetime's The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
One, she's a very young child. She's very young, right? You're the one that she feels safe in, right? And he's saying that she touched him, which is ridiculous.
The newly released 32-year-old makes a shocking accusation against her grandfather. D.D. Blanchard's father, Claude Petrus Sr. Gypsy alleges that her grandfather sexually abused and molested her when she and D.D. were living with him for a time. I was being sexually abused, molested. My grandpa would take me out of my wheelchair and bring me into a closet or the shack that was back behind their house where he would do woodworking. And he would perform sexual acts on me, Gypsy claims. He would make me touch him. He would touch me. At 9, I don't think that I knew that it was wrong. But then, my grandfather told me not to tell anyone.
Don't tell
She
nobody.
adds, I didn't want him to get in trouble, so I just kept quiet. Later, a producer asks Claude about Gypsy's allegations against him.
Makes no
He
sense.
denies his granddaughter's claims.
He's not going to say he did it, is he?
No, I never abused her, he says. That's
He's
the
not
first I heard of
is
it.
he?
We would always play together and always do stuff together and stuff like that.
Play stuff together.
Claude goes on to make a disturbing allegation of his own. She, Gypsy, would try to touch me, Claude alleges. I'd say no, don't do that. She was the one that was trying to touch me and I'd say no. Don't do that. She started that when she was about 4 years old. She was trying to touch me. Gypsy fires.
A 4-year-old looks for attention, looks for love. What else? 4-year-olds require love, attention, and security. They hug you. That's what little ones do. And he turned that into something else. And he denied it blatantly on screen that this never happened. Now, only a predator will say that, will switch it onto the child. Now, the reason why I believe her, because she later on spoke to her stepmother. And her stepmother, she couldn't believe it, because only her stepmother believed her, and they still disbelieve her to this day, the rest of the family. But I'm going to let it play.
She fires back at her grandfather and stands by her truth. That just confirms that, I want nothing to do with him, she says. I would have had more forgiveness in my heart had he just told the truth.
He ain't going to tell the truth, because he's the predator.
Gypsy's uncle, weighs in about Gypsy's allegations.
Now listen to the uncle.
I don't think that happened, Evans says about the alleged abuse. That was just probably taught to her by her mom.
No, I don't think so.
Gypsy responds to her grandfather's denial. There is no part of me that questions whether that happened or not, Gypsy stresses. This 100% happened. And he can take it to his grave if he wants to. But the one person that is not going to visit him at his grave is me. Gypsy was released from prison on December 28th after serving 8 years in prison for her role in her mother's murder.
right? He denied it. Then he's backed by the uncle who says, "Oh no, I don't think he's taught by the mother." The child was in a vulnerable situation. Her mum's telling her that she's ill and she's got this and she's got that and she's got this wrong with her. The mum gets into an accident. She ends up at the grandparents' house. It's supposed to be a safe place. And then you say a 4-year-old makes advances to a could be a big man. Now, as we know from all the news, all the certain stuff, if you watch if you know about the grooming thing, if you know about how these predators put stuff in their head thinking that a child is making advances to them when a child is not a child, just being a child. And to me, right, I think the only person on her side was really the stepmother. The stepmother said she couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe it because after she was told about it later on, she was shocked. She cried. She's the only one who felt that this was truth. All the rest of the other people said that what she said wasn't truth. Now, the reason why I said that how she was a victim of her mother and her grandfather, because the mother is not only she an opportunist, she took advantage of many of the benefits of having a sickly child, right? So whatever come with it, she will get like free stuff. She'll get, she'll sort of make Gypsy feel like as though she'll never have a life without her. Even when she tries to run away, she when she shackles her to the bed, she said that how no one would love you, and the mum really used the power of fear to the daughter. But because the daughter kind of worked out what was going on, the daughter seemed to work out, okay, right, okay, I could connect with somebody, which she did connect with somebody. And the guy was on parole. The first guy, the guy that she unalived her mum with. So it's just very crazy. The grandfather, however, is totally, he should be in prison, if anything, for age offences against her, because he literally took advantage of a child who nobody listened to, nobody will say, oh, she's this is happening to her. She had nowhere to go. Not only that, right, her escape was okay, even though it wasn't a good method. Hold on. I'm trying to get to the family members. All right. She took matters into her own hands because I think she clocked that her mum was lying. She came across certificates and papers. Now the family is saying that how she's lying. Some of the family saying that how she's lying and all this stuff. But her father and the stepmother, let me see if I can get something with the stepmother. The stepmother, which I feel the stepmom, because their relationship is quite tight. So she was able to tell her stepmother what was going on with her, with the grandfather. But it wasn't during it as a big woman. That's why I said that how the two monsters, there's two of them, the grandfather and the mother. He's just wicked altogether, right? She did have a slight Stockholm since Stockholm Syndrome, and she did have, I would say, I can't remember, there's another word, because it's neglect, abuse, and other stuff all rolled into one. Now, how much years later, now all the stories coming out? Well, obviously the family will deny it. Obviously. The family will deny it. Right? The family will deny it. But I'm gonna put up the one with the stepmother who talks.
All about Gypsy Rose Blanchard's relationship with her stepmother Christy Blanchard. Published by People. Gypsy and Christy open up about their close bond in the Lifetime docuseries, The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Gypsy Rose Blanchard has a very close relationship with her stepmother, Christy. After divorcing Gypsy's mom, Dee Blanchard, Gypsy's dad, Rod Blanchard, married Christy, with whom he shares 2 children. Both Rod and Christy maintained a close relationship with Gypsy during her early years, despite the fact that Dee and Rod divorced before Gypsy's birth. However, as Gypsy got older, she and her father became estranged as Dee controlled many aspects of Gypsy's life, eventually making her undergo years of intense medical treatments that she never needed. Gypsy was a victim of Munchausen by proxy, a form of abuse in which a guardian may seek attention or sympathy by making their child ill or exaggerating their illness. Following Dee's murder in June 2015, for which Gypsy pleaded guilty and served 8 years in prison, both Rod and Christy have shown their support for Gypsy. In the new Lifetime docuseries, The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Gypsy and Christy give more glimpses of their close bond as they open up about Gypsy's early childhood, her murder trial, and her time in prison. Here's everything they've revealed about their relationship. Christy started dating Rod when Gypsy was 6 months old. Gypsy's parents, Rod and Dee, first met when he was in high school, and dated for 3 months before Dee revealed she was pregnant. Though they eventually got married, their relationship was short-lived as they separated before Gypsy was born. In the docuseries, Christy says she and Rod began dating when Gypsy was 6 months old. During the early years of Gypsy's life, both Rod and Christy maintained a close relationship with Gypsy, often going to events together, including the Special Olympics. She appeared in Mommy, Dad, and Dearest alongside her husband Rod. In addition to telling her side of the story in the new Lifetime docuseries, Christy previously appeared in the HBO documentary Mommy, Dad, and Dearest alongside her husband. Rod, Christy, and their daughter Mia were also in attendance at the New York premiere of the documentary. She wasn't happy with Hulu's series The Act. Though Christy did appear in Mommy, Dad, and Dearest, one project about Gypsy's life she wasn't particularly happy with was Hulu's limited series The Act, which starred Joey King and Patricia Arquette and was co-created and co-produced by Michelle Dean. In an interview with Vulture, Christy claimed that she previously had discussions with Dean about the project and the family's involvement. When we first talked about The Act, she had told me she was going to talk to the...
Okay, we don't want to know about the series.
In just a few days, Gypsy pleaded guilty to second-degree murder after she and her boyfriend killed Dee Blanchard in 2015. But on December 28th, now at age 32, Gypsy will be a free woman on Thursday. I want to bring in Christy Blanchard. She is Gypsy Rose Blanchard's stepmom. Christy, it's so good of you to join us tonight. Thank you so much for this. You know, I suppose you could look at this as a kind of a late Christmas present, because I know that you and your husband Rod are really very, very much looking forward to, receiving her. What is the plan for Thursday? Tell us what you're going to do.
We're going to pretty much follow her lead, see how overwhelming she gets. And it's going to be a big adjustment. But we're going to do Christmas. Got a Christmas tree. We're going to put that up. Got her so many gifts. I went overboard, actually. But it's so hard to describe how I'm going to feel, how I'm going to react until I'm in the moment.
What does she want to do first?
Oh, we're doing a spa day. We booked a spa day. We're going to go get her pedicure, manicure, facial, haircut, colored if she wants. The works, bring her shopping. She can't wait to go clothes shopping with Mia. So it's going to be a full day of events the following day. Maybe that night that she gets released, we'll do the Christmas with her. Let her open a ton of gifts. It's
some people who are watching, I've listened, the majority of people I think who've seen the documentaries and the dramatic, presentations of her life are very supportive of Gypsy Rose.
Sounds to me like the stepmother was more caring than the mother that Gypsy ever had. Like, you know what I mean? The way she talks about her, like even now she's talking to that lady, the way she says, she wants her to rebuild her life. She don't, you know what I mean? Compared to her mother. I mean, what Gypsy said in the docu-series was that how the stepmother was the mother she never had. So it must be affection-wise. She could talk to her. She could be herself. She'll have to try hard. She'll have to do, you know what I mean? With her own mother, it's like she had to always do stuff to please her mother. Even when they found out that how the illness wasn't what it is, like one of the doctors, though he didn't tell the CPS what was going on, and he said that he regrets it to this day that he didn't take action because even when they did the test and when she was given all these tablets that made her teeth drop out, till she's about, I think she said she got about 9 teeth. She had to literally get dentures now in her big life. And it's like, that's so deep because many people have toxic mothers like this. Especially that syndrome, what they're talking about. I always forget what the syndrome's called. I forgot what the syndrome's called now. Let me see. That syndrome, what the mother had put on her. It's like, boy, that's a deep something. That's very deep. I'm gonna play it because I know this was spoken about before.
Munchausen's.
It's spoken about before. Let me see. I can get it. The actual medical, what it is. Yeah, there is.
Overview. Munchausen syndrome. Published by NHS. Cookies on the NHS website. We've put some small files called cookies on your device to make our site work. We'd also like to use analytics cookies. These collect feedback and send information about how our site is used to services called Adobe Analytics, Qualtrics Feedback, Microsoft Clarity, and Google Analytics. We use this information to improve our site. Let us know if this is okay. We'll use a cookie to save your choice. You can read more about our cookies before you choose. Munchausen syndrome is a psychological condition where someone pretends to be ill or deliberately produces symptoms of illness in themselves. Their main intention is to assume the sick role, so that people care for them and they are the center of attention. Any practical benefit in pretending to be sick, for example, claiming incapacity benefit, is not the reason for their behavior. Munchausen syndrome is named after a German aristocrat, Baron Munchausen, who became famous for telling wild, unbelievable tales about his exploits. Types of behavior. People with Munchausen syndrome can behave in a number of different ways, including pretending to have psychological symptoms, for example, claiming to hear voices or claiming to see things that are not really there. Pretending to have physical symptoms, for example, claiming to have chest pain or a stomachache. Actively trying to get ill, such as deliberately infecting a wound by rubbing dirt into it. Some people with Munchausen syndrome may spend years traveling from hospital to hospital faking a wide range of illnesses. When it's discovered they're lying, they may suddenly leave hospital and move to another area. People with Munchausen syndrome can be very manipulative and, in the most serious cases, may undergo painful and sometimes life-threatening surgery, even though they know it's unnecessary.
Hi, brown sugar.
What causes Munchausen syndrome? Munchausen syndrome is complex and poorly understood. Many people refuse psychiatric treatment or psychological profiling, and it's unclear why people with the syndrome behave the way they do. Several factors have been identified as possible causes of Munchausen syndrome. These include emotional trauma or illness during childhood. This often resulted in extensive medical attention. A personality disorder, a mental health condition that causes patterns of abnormal thinking and behavior. A grudge against authority figures or healthcare professionals.
Which your mum has.
Childhood trauma. Munchausen syndrome may be caused by parental neglect and abandonment, or other childhood trauma. As a result of this trauma, a person may have unresolved issues with their parents that cause them to fake illness. They may do this because they have a compulsion to punish themselves by making themselves ill because they feel unworthy. Need to feel important and be the center of attention. Need to pass responsibility for their well-being and care on to other people. There's also some evidence to suggest people who have had extensive medical procedures, or received prolonged medical attention during childhood or their teenage years, are more likely to develop Munchausen syndrome when they're older.
Yeah, I think her mum had it.
This may be because they associate their childhood memories with a sense of being cared for. As they get older, they try to obtain the same feelings of reassurance by pretending to be ill. Personality disorders. Different personality disorders thought to be linked with Munchausen syndrome include antisocial personality disorder, where a person may take pleasure in manipulating and deceiving doctors, giving them a sense of power and control. Borderline personality disorder, where a person struggles to control their feelings and often swings between positive and negative views of others. Narcissistic personality disorder, where a person often swings between seeing themselves as special and fearing they're worthless. It could be that the person has an unstable sense of their own identity and also has difficulty forming meaningful relationships with others. Playing the sick role allows them to adopt an identity that brings support and acceptance from others with it. Admission to hospital also gives the person a clearly defined place in a social network. Diagnosing Munchausen syndrome. Syndrome can be challenging for medical professionals. People with the syndrome are often very convincing and skilled at manipulating and exploiting doctors. Investigating claims. If a healthcare professional suspects a person may have Munchausen syndrome, they'll look at the person's health records to check for inconsistencies between their claimed and actual medical history.
Which is what the
healthcare professionals can also run tests.
One of the guys on the program spoke about that how when they tried to find out what was wrong with Gypsy Rose, that how when the mom was telling the diagnosis, or she wouldn't give the proper diagnosis, she would say certain stuff which wouldn't make sense. And then until when they tested her, and they said that all of the tests came out that she had nothing wrong with her. And the mom will go to various doctors, like I think she went to 3 doctors or 4 doctors after that. The mom sounded like she was also the one who also had some kind of the same thing. What was it, Munchausen syndrome, right? Because the mom was playing it out on the daughter. And because she was a nurse as well, she knew how to the words to tell the doctors. So every time the doctors will say, no, she ain't got this, the mom will say, oh, well, she might have this one. And then, like I said, one of the doctors said that how his regret was not to tell the people what was going on with the child. So when if you have seen the movie The Act, the act. There's also there's also one called Gypsy Rose Revenge, which I'm gonna go check it, but I think it's a series. But it's best to watch the act. The act is more forward. You see where like she's at a hospital, and after they extract from her bones, you know, they pull from the marrow, right, to test it out, and she goes through a lot of pain going through this. So this lady went through traumatization. So when she said that, how when she got to prison, she was happy. You know, most time when people go to prison, they're in fear, they're this, they're that. She was happy that she was in prison because she was able to become normal. I think in her mind, she's able to be normal, isn't it? She's able to be normal around normal people. And when she said that, I said, you know, that just shows you how severe her mum was. Her mum had a tight grip on her. Even when her father thought that how the mum was taking care of her, when the mum was taking care of her, she wasn't taking care of her, because they even talk about that thing that happened in Louisiana, Karina, I think it's Karina, right? Where like she because that happened down in Louisiana, she used that because they couldn't access the medical records to say, well, okay, this child is normal, there's nothing wrong with the child, etc., etc. She's getting SSI, she's getting a lot of stuff. Gypsy Rose also talks about how she and the guy strategizes to get so that she can get out of the situation as well. Like, you know, I mean, like you kind of see a little bit of the adaptation in it, but they strategize to get out. She strategizes to get out from under her mother, from being like, because I think after the mum said no one's gonna love you, which you never say to your child. People with monstrons want the attention on themselves. They cause illness and then become the rescuer. Yeah, that's what her mum definitely most probably had. I think she had it as well, you know, and it's no excuse to her, because the lengths she went to, you know, she also got the dad to contribute money, you know, because, you know, like making her daughter like a princess. All the princess dresses. All the pictures you see of Gypsy, she's got a crown on, she's got the long curly hair on, she's dressed in these princessy dresses, pure costumes. As Gypsy said, it's costumes, a lot of costumes. And Gypsy said even when she came to running away, there was no normal clothes. She literally put on one of the princessy dresses. And it's like, you know, you can imagine that how, right, she's on fight or flight mode at the time. To me, she possibly would have fallen in love with anybody at this rate. Her rescuer, you know, whoever he is, the man on the stallion. So, you know, it's just how it all worked out, because she's the one who pulled. She in this documentary, she said that she pulled the trigger. It's like she pulled the trigger, but she also said that how it was the boyfriend who unalived the mum. But it's like a sense of relief to her, like, you know, when you look at her, it's like she just relaxed. She just seemed relaxed, because when she did the documentary, she said that was the only one hearing, and that hearing would have swung it, that how, right, she would have had to stay in prison for a length of time or come out. So it's a lot, that there's a lot was said, even from episode 1 and 2 alone, right? It's just like there's so many stuff in there. The uncles speak, the cousins speak. Like, you hear their point of views, but then, like you say, where was you But they said, oh yeah, because like her mum wouldn't let us wouldn't well, she isolated herself, which is what it sounds like that syndrome is. The mum isolating herself. The mum, let me look, let me see. Let me look at the list. I think they got a list. The mum isolating herself, the personality syndrome, the illnesses, the gauge against authority. The mum had a problem with authority. She had a problem with authority. She's antisocial. She invested in claims, which they already said. You know, she very much, the mum very much, what do you call it? Controlled a lot of her life. So when she's talking, but then now when you're researching when you're researching her story, they're saying that how she lied. It's not true. That's not true. But you weren't there with her 24/7 when her mum took her away. Either at least the stepmother and the father tried to find out where she was located, and the stepmother literally says it, right? She was worried for her, especially when Hurricane Katrina had happened. She was very worried until when they literally connect back. But the mom is still kind of have a tight grip on her. It's like, it's mad. She was definitely vulnerable at the time. That's why the grandfather, who is a predator, is coming up with all these lies right at this present moment. I'm gonna see if he has passed away. Let me see if he's dead. Passed away. Let me see if he's still here. Oh. Okay. Oh, that's the guy. That's not the granddad, is it? That's the boyfriend. That's the boyfriend. It's not the granddad. I'm seeing if he's still alive. Because he's a right bastard, to be honest, in my book. You take advantage of a sick girl. I can't even see. Let me see if he's not telling me. Is he alive? Because Dee Dee passed away. Let me see. They said the Gypsy creepy grandfather. Yes, he is creepy. That one, they're right on that one. Let me see.
Ryan, he didn't say, oh, we have to have the first night. It was like, if you want to, let it happen now.
No, you don't want to go through that one. It doesn't say whether he's still alive or not. I should think he's still alive. Oh, let me see how long this one was. January 2024. But he says he's still alive, which is interesting. He's still alive. The grandfather, I feel, should be taken in for questioning when they do past abuses. She probably can get something on him because it's a past abuse. He took advantage of her when she was younger. That is really out of order. That right there is very out of order. He was thinking, he's even how he says a 4-year-old. Oh, she was touching me, and whatever. She's 4 years old, dude. She's 4 years old. That's why I did that small video yesterday, because I was just thinking about it and I said, that is just crazy. He literally said that a 4-year-old was making advances of him, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Anybody who has a small child who's 4 years old knows children always wants attention. They want you to, they want that hug, that just shows you how twisted his mind was. He had a sick mind too. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't even know whether, don't even know whether he has very sick mind. Let me see. Sorry, I keep pausing.
Interview that she had with crime investigation, and the man said he never did nothing, but people fail to forget something. Someone who abuses someone, they ain't gonna tell you that how they're doing it, and even though she tried to express it, it still wasn't heard. It still fell on deaf ears. The only person who listened to her was her stepmother, and it's like the rest of the family was still denying that this happened to her. But this just goes to show you, like, even though she was going through what she was going through with her mother, she needed other people to help her or to save her. So when she's thinking that how she's in safe hands, she's not in safe hands, But I just thought I'd say that, because when I watched it and she said that, and the grandpa's like, no. Like, an abuser is not going to say that they abuse somebody, ridiculous. People, people need to think logically. Anyway, that's all I'm going.
And the main fact that how the producer asked him as well. Like, I'm thinking, like, he's not gonna tell you, yeah, well, we're whatever, right? He's not gonna tell you, right? Because even the grandma was shocked when the grandma, somebody was when they spoke. I can't remember, was he standing somewhere or whatever, and he was like, no. When they asked the other members, oh no, like, he would never do that. How do you know he won't do that? How do you know? You can't read the mind of a predator. The predators are normally someone that the child knows. Right. And obviously, because the mother was out of commission, right? So he probably was to protect her, right? He took advantage of that. I'm sorry, I keep going back to that point, because I just can't believe that. I just can't believe that the family, the guys, the males in the family was vouching for him, like, as though, like, how can you vouch for someone? You can't vouch for nobody. Okay, you can't vouch for nobody, right? He took advantage of the girl. The mum took the opportunity. The mum is an opportunist, and she took advantage of her daughter, because obviously she wanted attention. Her man has left her, found another woman, right? And the fact that she's saying that she was telling her daughter all sorts of things about the father on top of it. I mean, fair enough, right? Some fathers are, you know what, but he generally tried to check for his daughter. I mean, like, we can only listen to what is being said and go by what is being said, okay? And I feel that how the father genuinely thought that Gypsy Rose's mum was looking after her. And it's like, it's like, me, it's just crazy to me, as I always say. It's crazy to me because grandparents normally take care of the children. Mind you, anybody who's been through abuse knows that how most cases it is a grandfather, uncle, a friend, a boyfriend, The list continues on. A cousin, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just, and then the people's vouching for him on top of it. And it's like, I wouldn't even vouch for him at this point. I won't vouch for him. What are you they're vouching for him? They don't even know. They weren't even there. Only she can talk because she's the one who went through it. I'm gonna see if I can see the uncles. Right. So now she's in contact with her family as well as, I think, her sister as well. Her stepmom Kirsty and her half sister Maria and Dylan. Okay, can't play that one. Oh, it's not gonna play it. No. Oh, they're not gonna play him. Oh, okay. Gypsy Rose's Blanchett's family photos from her childhood story. Okay, so that's all about the act and stuff like that. It seems like they're more connected now. You know, seems like they're more connected. Don't know who this is. Don't know who that is. But anyways, yeah. But you know, I just thought I'll do this live because I would like people who have seen the documentary also to comment, because when you hear the story the grandfather tells, right, you just think, what, really he is mad creepy. I might even put up a short of him telling the bloody lie because he's so ridiculous. And then the bloody member, then the family members backs him. Some of them backs him, except for the stepmother. I don't even know if I can show you on here. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if it's even gonna play. I'm just like, what the G? Really, sir? I'm sorry to say the American terms, but you know, I'm like, really? Are you for sure? I can't even find it. Oh, there it is, right in front of my face. No, so she's been out about 11 days out of prison. Let me see, we can find the stupid granddad. Really stupid self. Let me see. He's very weird. Let me see. Oh, Nicholas. Let me see. Are we gonna see the granddaddy one? Okay, let's try this girl. Right. I'm sorry to be prolonging the situation, but you know, I just gotta play it because because if you haven't seen it, I'm gonna show you now why I'm so crazy right now. Right. This is why I'm so crazy right now about this situation. Let's see, she's gonna play it.
Oh no. No, I never. At the first I heard of it, we always would play together and always stuff together and stuff like that. But
So that's not true at all.
no,
Mary Meet My Witches and Wiccan, and for all you know witch folks, good evening. I'm your host, Moon Witch, and on this podcast particularly, I'm going to be naming it Chit Chats. I thought the neighbors were mowing the lawn. I was like, of course they are, but they're not.
Well, ever since I came to prison, the end goal, the goal of everything that I have done within this facility was to get paroled. Today is the day before my parole hearing, and certain questions about my crime.
48-year-old Dee Dee Blanchard's body was found in her house late Sunday night. The sheriff isn't saying how she died. Gypsy told us that there may have been some abuse that went on in this house.
abuse with who?
With you.
Who?
Gypsy.
Gypsy?
Yeah.
Oh no. No, I never. At the first I heard of it, we always would play together and always stuff together and stuff like that. But
So that's not true at all.
no,
Did you hear what he said? No. No, we always play together. We always play together. That's how it starts. That's how it starts. That's how it is. That's how it starts out. So he groomed her and then probably essayed her. Like, man, anyway, I couldn't get the bit where I got that bit alone. That's the bit I want people to see. Because he is a predator. He is a predator. He's a predator. Okay? He's a predator. Alright? That's normal to him. That's a normal thing. He's probably essaying some of the family as well. Oh, we play together. Okay. Anyways, I just thought I'll talk about Gypsy Rose and her mother and grandfather and why I did that small video on the grandfather, particularly because it was very disturbing, his answer. Creepy, disturbing, cringy, all the above. Not normal. They need to keep their other children away from him personally. Block him, whatever you got to do, because even how he worded it alone is ridiculous. And if you know about the grooming situation, it always starts out with play and then it moves into something else when people's not looking. Okay. And sometimes, right, we need to be aware of these things too as parents, because like there's always a moment when your eyes are taken off of your child. You don't know, you think they're with a trusted somebody and they're not. And it's like she the way how she said, yeah, well, like, I know we'll keep that to his grave, well, I won't be going to his funeral. When she said that, I felt that, because he basically said that a 4-year-old advanced to him, and that is very sick. Okay, and yeah, that's what I mostly want to say about this side of it. The mum isn't was an opportunist. She took advantage of her child. She took lots of benefits off of her child. She was able to get attention. She was able to get a whole heap of stuff. Like, so obviously, if Gypsy had realized the age she was, because the age, even the age wasn't correct until Gypsy discovered how old she was. The age on the birth dates, on the what the mum was telling her, didn't make sense. And then Gypsy, I feel, decided she had to take steps so she can be free of her mother, as wrong as it is. Being that how she's living in Louisiana, I don't know how they sound like they live on the bayou side of Louisiana to me. They're from the bayou side. They have that Creole twang to what when they talk. I think the grandfather lives in a rural area, and Gypsy had to wait until someone came and got her from that house before she can go back and sort of not be safe, but she's out of the predator's reach. 9 years, 4 to 9 years, I think she said it went on for. He is a bitch at this point, and any man who's in agreement with what he did, they're sick as him, in my book, and or woman for that, because we know some women are like say, oh, what is her fault? No, it's not her fault. She's a little girl. She's a little girl. So yeah, basically, I don't want to repeat myself. I know I need to go onto the dark side and also put some of this content on there too, because I've put a lot of the things that you check for as well, because like even I have to remind myself too. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. Thank you, Brown Sugar, for coming through, and whoever else is listening in. Even if you heard her whole story before, it's just that some things, when you really work it out, it's not logical. It's not logical. It's not logical, right? The stepmother tried to get her. The dad, when he realized what was going on, because the wife made him aware of it, the new wife, he tried to get her. He tried to get her. A nurse made friends with her mother. She was there during Hurricane Katrina. The nurse also cottoned on to certain stuff. If you watch the please watch the documentary when you get a chance. It's on crime investigation. It's very interesting. Listen to what she says. Listen to every detail. Don't miss out nothing. Listen to every detail. Listen to how she describes what happens with her and her grandfather, how she gets to that point till she unalives her mother. She is clearly the victim in all of this. Clearly the victim. I don't know why people's putting a question mark on it. Yes, there is people who pretend to be victims. Yes, there is. She is clearly, plain as day, the victim. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you for coming through, Brown Sugar, and I'll see you in the next live. I hope I can do more lives like this. Please go to the dark side. Go and put some comments in the dark side also, because of I'm trying to talk about that church as well, and certain stuff that I've gotten into looking into. And please leave a comment over the dark side as well, because these are all linked together. Higher True Daughter Darkness, these things are all linked together. There is no difference. He's a groomer. Clearly he groomed her from 4 years old. And I'm about to come off, Chrissy. You have to watch it on the replay. I don't know. I think it's an hour long. There's no way to cut it down. Normally I do short ones, but in this case, there's a lot of things to go through. well, a few things to go through. Gypsy Rose is clearly the victim. She is clearly the victim. Clearly. All right. I've already done on Grape in Jamaica. This is a similar situation as that. Right. If anything, this is a clear situation. Right. It's just that just that they're down in Louisiana in the bayou. The mom went to Springfield, she went to certain places, she moved around a lot. So, you know, your papers get lost, your medical papers get lost, different things, you know. I don't claim to be no expert, but that's what I'm thinking went on. Okay. So please leave a comment in the comment section and tell me what you think of the Gypsy Blanche. Put a comment underneath that video with the grandfather. What do you think of that? That what I said? Logical thinking people. What do you think what I said? Okay. Joe K. His father was the same in that what's it, TB Joshua. And though he's a different situation, he's still abuse. Okay, but I don't do abuse on this channel. I normally do it on the dark side of Ocean Yumi. I just decided to do it on this one because of who she is. You know, right? And I know I don't go on my channel regular, but I'm gonna try to. Because some things are always linked to abuse. It always ends up to the same thing, the same motion. Okay. So and it's neglect as well. So and because of anyway, I don't want to go on. No. I'm just gonna come off. Anyway, but I'll see you in the next live. Take care. Bye.